Hello there, fellow NPCs. I am Scythe, and today we're going to continue to play Seeds of Chaos. In the last episode, not a lot have happened so far, of course. It's as it was the first episode, but we have received a small quest from Marielle to find her missing daughter. Now we have geared up in our war gear and are heading out. So, let's go. This does not look good, Rowan. She may have just wandered off, but my gut tells me there's something more sinister afoot. Do you think she has been abducted? Perhaps. I am heading to the western woods now. The mother thinks that's where she might be. I will send Tobias to Reeve Keep to inform the Duke. We pay our titties to this. I don't know that word, but it's not titties. Like everyone else, and are entitled to his protection. I will be back as soon as I can. Then I will not delay you any longer. Take care, my friend. It hadn't taken Rowan long to find a trail at the edge of the woods, following his winding path into the depths of the forest. Coming upon a dim glade, he knelt down to inspect the ground. Too small to be an adult. These footprints must be hers. They just seem to vanish into thin air. Rowan looked up into the canopy above him. Perhaps she had climbed a tree in order to get her bearings from a higher vantage point, or even to avoid danger. But these bigger ones... Rowan's blood ran cold the longer he stared at the heavy boot prints that churned the ground near the edge of the glade. No human would have made such large tracks. Oh. I think someone just shot with an arrow. What the hell? His head snapped to the left as an arrow came whistling from somewhere within the thick brush. Luckily for Owen, it missed its mark, flying harmlessly past him and embedded itself in a nearby tree. Works. Oh, aren't you an ugly... Mother. Rowan whirled around, drawing his sword in a single swift movement. A half-breath passed before the rustling of bushes in front of him heralded their arrival. Half a dozen orcs emerged from the tree, surrounding him on all sides. They'd been waiting for him. The largest one, the leader, he reasoned. Stepped forward. He was confident in his odds. A grave mistake. Where is the girl? Is no girl. Is no girl. Is no girl. What do you mean? Is no girl. Never was, you stupid human. Fall for trap like all other stupid humans. The realization hit Rowan like the twist of a knife in his stomach. If this had been Marielle's plan to draw him away all along, then Alexia and the rest of the village were in even more danger than he was. Okay, that's an interesting plot twist. Rowan backed up, making space between himself and his aggressors. He lifted the tip of his blade, staring with deadly focus beyond the orc's layering features. The only way out was through. Don't be stupid, human. Be smart, human, for change. Just put that weapon down and don't make no fuss. No, they are here to attack me at the very least. Maybe even eat me. And yeah, so I don't think there's a way to reason with these guys. So, attack! Rowan did not respond with words. His blade leapt out, slashing one of the unsuspecting orcs who had gotten a little too close to his guard in the throat. He fell to his knees, the blade clattering from his neck as a red fountain from his neck. One foe dead, the rest to come. The orc's companions let out roars of anger and charged the lone hero. Whoa. It's too bad we don't get to see any of this. Oh, now with this we get to see. God damn. Rowan shifted his stance to face the orc that rushed towards him. He brought his blade up to meet the incoming axe, batting away the clumsy downstrike and dancing back to make distance. The orc was strong but, like the rest of his kind, sluggish. No match for a swordsman of Rowan's skill. He turned the axe's deadly arc away with a twist of the wrist, his riposte sinking deep into the orc's chest with a sickening squelch. Bracing his foot against the slumped orc's twitching body, Rowan pulled his blade clearly just in time to meet the next blade swing. The sound of steel clashing against it rang out through the otherwise tranquil woods. In the deepening twilight, Rowan fought for his life. And in the summer, Prothea is truly a sight to behold. They have these beautiful processions through the city to the codifice of light in honor of Solancia. Everyone wears the most magnificent outfits, crowned in golden roses and in silks of the finest silver cloth. It is so colorful and lively. Oh, you simply must go there one day. It sounds wonderful. Yeah, I'm gonna keep her Irish or Scottish, I can't tell the difference. Alexia was struggling to pay attention. She stood at the window, hoping to catch a glimpse of her husband returning down to the lane to their cottage, like he always did. She saw nothing but the sun sinking low to meet the horizon. There was a deep, foreboding feeling that squirmed in her gut, a feeling not all helped by the shady Prothean. She could barely think straight. It's getting dark. He should have been back by now. Oh, I think it might be a while longer yet, my sweet girl. Alexia knew instantly that something was wrong. Mariel's voice had changed. Less than half an hour ago, she had been shrieking with grief. Now she sounded almost smug. She turned to face the young Prothean and found her smiling. The hairs on the back of Alexia's neck stood up. What do you mean by that? By now he should have encountered a little trap I left waiting for him in the woods. Orcs do enjoy a good fight. Orcs? Mariel rose from her chair. The smile grew wider and wider. Soon it was a leering, villainous grin. Do not worry, Alexia. It's nothing your husband cannot handle. Now just keep him busy for a little while. Who are you? Why are you doing this? I suppose this ruse has gone on long enough. I do so love a good charade. But all great things must come to an end, as they say. Oh. Mariel's face darkened, a swirl of magic wafting from her body. Alexia's gasped, as the delicate features of one of Solancia's chosen faded away to an unnatural bluish color. Huh. Alexia fell backward onto the hardwood floor, terror seizing hold of her chest as crawled desperately on her hands away from this shape-shifting creature. Yeah, exactly, so she's some kind of shapeshifter. Or at the very least can change parts of her appearance, like skin color. Where the white-haired girl had stood was now a beautiful blue-hued woman. Her revealing outfit was a garish accent to her already inhuman appearance. You're a demon! Aren't you quick to catch on? But the question isn't what I am, it's what I'm going to do with you. Rowan's blood was up, his heart racing in his chest from a mixture of adrenaline and fear. The rough stink of filth and gore filled his nostrils. The ground around him was stained red. The bodies of 4 dead or dying bodies were strewn around the grove. The clumsy but powerful thrusts had failed to land against Rowan, but his skilled blows had all found the mark. It had been grueling, but with blow after blow he had brought them to their knees. He turned, panting but ready for more, towards the final orc, the largest of the brutes and the one who had seemed like the leader. If you're just going to watch, you should leave already. The orc growled in anger and rushed forward to Rowan. Swinging his handmade axe in a wide swath in front of him like a lumberjack hacking at a tree. Powerful but slow, the hero batted another blow away as he looked for an opening. At this rate, it would not be long before the beast tired. Ha ha ha! So this is why you're stupid, Humi. You should worry about me, but you should have been worried about Miss Masters. Masters? The green skin gave him a toothy smile, and I can't do the orc voice. I'm gonna, I think I'm gonna do just the regular voice. Ooh, ooh. Now we get it. The two clashed again, blades crossing as the orc tried to decapitate Rowan with a crowning strike. Rowan kept his distance, frustrating the monster's attempts to use his superior strength to force the advantage. Soon he was skirting the edges of the grove. Seeing that his opponent back was to the trees, the orc flung himself at the hero, attempting to grapple with him. His smaller opponent opted to pirouette, sending the orc tumbling past him. As he spun, Rowan brought his sword down around the orc's exposed back, and a long, bloody splash split the skin down the monster's spine. Slash. Why did you lure me out here? Tell me! You'll find out soon enough, Yumi. The disoriented orc charged Rowan one last time. Dodging his clumsy swing was no challenge for Rowan, tired and wounded as the orc was. He sidestepped, slicing the beast's stomach and splitting his midsection open at the ribs. Blood poured from the wound as Rowan drew the blade free. His foe sunk to the ground, body shuddering, its eyes glazing over as it fell into its death throes. Rowan broke out into a run, not bothering to sheath his sword. As he had left the clearing, the woods engulfed him like witches' fingers. Goddess, please, keep Alexia safe. At least until I get there. But that small prayer, meant only for the ears of the heavens, was heard for someone else. Rowan did not notice, but in the woods there was a glimmering pair of gold eyes watching intently from afar, so there is a real Prothrian, or whatever they're called. And as he worked his way back the path towards Othdale, they followed him every step of the way, never losing sight of their prey. Okay, not a Prothrian. Hey, this is going to be fun. Oh! Whoopsie! Okay, take revenge on the hero. Get that, I get that. This feels like a bit much. But yeah, if you want to hurt the hero, hurt everything they hold dear. Emerging through the last lingering trees, he came upon a sight of true horror. The attack had already begun. Orcs moved from building to building, ransacking what they could find from abandoned homes and shops, smashing windows and breaking down doors. Screams echoed up the thoroughfare, the sounds of crashing wood and steel meeting flesh in stark accompaniment. Bodies of the villagers had littered the streets, a dozen or more. Goddess. How could they have reached Othdale without any of the outlying towns being alerted? Why didn't they have any prior warning whatsoever? But he had little time to reflect on the destruction filling his nostrils. Alexia was somewhere. The orcs were much too busy plundering the town to pay attention to the lone shadow flitting between alleyways. As he moved, his mind went to the safety of planning. He'd have to alert Duke Reeve immediately, evacuate whoever he could from the town while they tried to... Hey. Oh, bitch! This is... Ooh, wow. There, in the front of his home, and brazen as could be, stood a shapely blue-skinned demon. Her eyes alighted at the sight of Rowan, as if she had been expecting him. The creature's hellish countenance twisted into a mocking smile. Alexia knelt at her feet, her hands bound. The creature cradled his wife's head against her midsection with mock paternal care. A smile widened as Rowan stalked forward, his knuckle clenched white around the hilt of his sword, murder burning in his eyes. Ah, there you are, hero. So glad you finally joined us. I was beginning to think this whole village would be leveled before you returned. Rowan ignored the demon's taunts, focusing instead on Alexia. She had yet to look up at him. Her head hung almost lifeless as she stared at the ground. If you hurt her... In any way! Now, Rowan Blackwell, there's no need for threats. Your wife is perfectly fine, just a little magic to make her a bit more agreeable. Couldn't have her running around before we talked, could we? The demon gently stroked her hair like a favorite pet, smirking at Rowan's dark scowl. Let her go! In due time. Rowan appraised the demon. She didn't look very strong, perhaps a succubus, given her shape-shifting abilities. Hundreds of her kind had fought in the demon ranks during the war. He stepped forward, and she made no move to stop him. This was all supposed to be so much easier, but you instead insisted on making a nuisance of yourself. Frankly, I find all this violence utterly boorish. Rowan swung hard at her head in a diagonal slice. The demon's hand jerked back, reacting far quicker than Rowan had been expecting. Tch! Blue energy sprang from her fingertips, only just parrying away the turn of Rowan's sword as it arced towards her exposed throat. Her face was lit in a bright, unnatural contrast, highlighting her inhuman features in the angular blues. Rowan didn't give her time to recover. He swung again, aiming this time at her chest. The demon let out a grunt and narrowly batted that away as well, backing up to make space. She let go of Alexia, who collapsed to the ground, groaning. That wasn't very noble of you, hero. Her movements might have been fast, but they were those of an amateur. Rowan rushed forward, stepping deep into her guard, his blade a silver blur. She batted the strike away, but he was ready for it this time. Rather than trying to recover, he simply let go of his sword, knocking her off balance from the sudden lack of resistance. He pulled his dagger free from its sheath, plunging it directly into her. Oh! Oh, someone else, that dude came, was following me. It was not just some random monster in the forest, it was someone that followed me and made sure to keep me in check. Damn! A red flash of demonic magic filled his vision. It crackled in the air like the sound of sparking embers. Rowan was blasted with the full force of the evocation. It was like burning needles jabbed in his joints, like white-hot sandpaper scraping the inside of his skin. Pain arced through his body as the magic nearly drove him into his knees. He was frozen in place. His dagger slipped free from the trembling fingers. It's a good thing I returned when I did, dear sister. It looked like this fool was just about to shiv you in the guts. The female demon let out a derisive huff of air, brushing herself off. I was just playing with my food a bit, Andras. You, of all people, have no right to criticize me for that indulgence. You were about to be stabbed. Curious way to toy with him. Andras lifted his head back and laughed in shocked derision. The purple demon, who he had called Sister, shot him a glare with a furrowed brow. Things were well in hand, I assure you. If you say so, Ysera. Magic bled from the red demon's fingertips, forming a chaotic circle of energy above Rowan's head. The initial shock of the spell had worn out, but the pain was still such that his shoulder bent like a bow from the weight of it. Just kill me, monster. Oh dear hero, no. You misunderstand our intent. My brother, you see, has always been of the mistaken impression that force is the only way to get what you want. She picked Alexia up off the ground, bringing her up to her knees and pressing her cheek against her waist. But we women know that you catch far more flies with honey. Dearest brother, how is he still standing? Down, fool. The red energy pulsed, engulfing Rowan once more in a sea of agony. Despite the stabbing pain, he remained standing, his fist clenched so tightly into his palms that he felt blood on his fingertips. He had to stay. I said down. A third blast of power struck him, nearly blinding him with its brightness. Rowan let out a roar of pain, at last falling to his knees before them through the sheer weight of its spell. The two demons crackled. Much better. See how much easier things are when you listen to us, hero? Rowan lifted his head to look at his stricken wife. Alexia's eyes were open. She'd only been pretending to be unconscious. Their gazes met, unspoken words passing between them. The bottom dropped out of Rowan's stomach as he realized what she was about to do. Alexia let out a giant scream and shook from side to side in a futile effort to wrench herself free from Ysera's vice grip. The demon recoiled in surprise, but in the same moment threw out an instinctual slap which pummeled Alexia's cheek. Rude! Alexia groaned and whimpered, but Andros was, briefly, left distracted by his sibling's outburst. Rowan leapt forward, scrambling for his dagger. Taking it in both hands, he slammed it down hard into the demon's foot. The Andras let out a roar of anger. With his concentration broken, the spell dissipated and the burning agony of its energy faded away. Rowan jumped to his feet. Andras immediately began casting the spell once more, weaponless, unable to defend himself. He only had one chance. Rowan flung himself through the entryway of his home. He had broken line of sight and the spell no longer had any hold over him. He sprinted to the rear of the house, throwing himself through the window out the back with the red demon in hot pursuit. Shards of glass clung to his clothing as he hit the ground and rolled. Rowan quickly lost himself in the narrow back alleys, evading the demon's grasp and as he pursued a futile chase. He heard the demon's raging voice echoing behind him. Get back here, coward! Rowan sped down the back alley, making tracks towards the smithy. He needed a weapon. He needed something, anything to fight him with. He had to free Alexia. Rowan skidded to a stop at a dead end. Thinking quickly, he shimmied up to the second story of the Fletcher's shop, sneaking in front of the roof even as his pursuers turned to face the now empty alleyway. Burn the town! Burn him up! I want him found! Rowan watched as the orcs fanned out. Their torches were burning like candles in the dim light as they began to spread fire to nearby buildings. There was no time to dwell on the horror of it all. He retreated from the window and took the stairs down. There, he found the Fletcher and his wife covering behind the counter of the shop. Rowan, thank goodness it's you. I think that's the old man. Jeroen, they're setting fire to the town. Head out the back door and make for the woods. But go! There's no time! Rowan yanked a hunting bow off the wall, shouldering a quiver of arrows as he made for the roof once more. Okay, it wasn't the old man, it was just some person. Ostay was ablaze. Bright, terrible flames the color of hell fought high into the air. Rowan watched as his childhood home was consumed by the budding inferno. From his overhead vantage point, he could count the enemy's numbers and observe their harried movements. It was about 30 orcs in all, too many for him to take out in a straight fight, especially with the two demons holding his wife. But he took special note of the way they moved as groups through the burning village. The ostensible effort was to create a dragnet that would seal off every escape route. But whoever had planned the strategy clearly hadn't done enough scouting. In the back of his head he rapidly put together 3 different avenues he could use to easily escape it if that's what he wished. This invasion was planned by amateurs. Rowan did not run. His wife was still captive, slipping back down the ground. Rowan knocked an arrow. It caught the first orc he saw in the face. No sooner had he loosened, he was drawing a second arrow from the quiver, all the while making with all the haste towards the center of town. He crept with the deliberate steps between the burning buildings. Wherever he found a straggler, he picked them up. But insofar as it was possible to dodge the orc patrol, the air began to sting Rowan's eyes, and the more he breathed in, the more he felt his lungs filling with smoke. The adrenaline and the lingering image of his captive wife drove him on. This is taking too long. And whose fault is that, brother? This was your plan, remember? I'm just tying up loose ends. Our missing hero is a hell of a loose end. We have his woman, we have leverage. Such leverage is used if he dies in the blaze. And if he did, what use was a fool like that to us in a way? A fair point. Oh, that is a stunning image. Unbeknownst to either demon, Rowan was listening intently to their conversation. He had made the mistake of attacking them head on before. This time, he would not give them the opportunity. I'm just thinking right now, which one of these images will I use for the thumbnail? They are all so amazing. Now, he was perched in a building with a clear overhead look at a pair of demons. A perfect striking spot, but one made risky by the fire at its base. There was a risk of collapse at any moment. Rowan! I know you can hear me! If you ever wish to see your beloved Alexia again, you will come to the site of your final battle against Karnas. I am sure you have not forgotten where that was. Come alone, human, and do not even think about bringing along some of your little friends like last time. You won't like what happens to your precious wife if you do. A strange blue glow surrounded the three of them as Ysera spoke. Rowan knocked an arrow, aiming directly for Ysera's throat. Just a moment more. We'll be waiting, hero! The bowstring swung as a sharp death flew from his fingertips, but even as it sailed towards its destination, there was a flash of light. It crossed over empty air, slamming with a grim impotence into the wall behind where the three had once stood. They were gone. Rowan could only look on in despair as the demon disappeared into the thin air. But he didn't have long to marvel at the spot where they once stood. His legs shook with a fearsome vibration and his ears rang with an ominous rumbling. Then, the building he had perched in collapsed beneath his feet. Rowan? You? Me? We need out here. It was old man, Elder. Oh man, he sliced through across his chest. Get up, bro. We need to get out of here. The fire is spreading. Rowan opened his eyes to see the village elder standing above him. He was covered in soot, his aged hands scrabbling at the debris that Rowan was pinned beneath. Black smoke covered the sky above, the stench of burning flesh filling the air with a sickly sweet smell. Elder? Oh, sickly sweet smell. I think that means burning flesh. I think I've heard that somewhere, that burning flesh is kinda sweet. Oh. Thank the goddess you're still alive. Come on, boy, on my arm I'll help you walk. The elder placed the younger man's arm around his own neck so he could help support him. With a heave and a grunt of pain, he lifted him unsteadily to his feet. Together they began to shuffle away from the rising inferno. Is blood on you? It's nothing, just a flesh wound. What of the other villagers? Some managed to escape when the fire started. The rest... Where is your wife? Is Alexia unharmed? They took her. God is watch over her, but we can't worry about that now. We have to get out of here. We'll worry about that later. First we have to get out of here before we burn to death. Though weakened by his own injuries, the elder somehow found the strength to guide Rowan through the village until they were both clear of the fire. It took everything Rowan had to remain on his feet. They ended up in a nearby field overlooking the devastation. Rowan could feel the cool grass press against the flesh of his neck when the elder lowered him gently back on the ground. It was a welcome change of sensation from the pain that racked his body. The elder was saying something. His lips were moving but making no sound. Rowan looked up at the stars in the night sky, just visible through the thick smoke that rose like a black pillar into the air. His vision blurred, and consciousness failed him. But that is where I will be turning off for today's episode. That was a great point, a great place where I stopped the last episode. Because had we caught any of the attack in the last episode, I would have kept on playing. Let's say, put it like that. So that was great, and this is picking up fast. Apparently, only less than 40 minutes in, and our wife has been taken hostage by 2 demons who need me for something. It would seem. Yeah. I am very much looking forward to playing the rest of the game. And I must say also, it is very different narrating this game from the other visual novels that I've been playing. The only game that's been anything close to this is when I did the Sweden's National Day, when I played My Pig Princess. It was the similar kind of style, and it is a lot of reading when doing that, and not just voices but narration as well. So yeah, it seems very good though, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. And if you want to watch anything else that I've been playing, you can find it at the bottom of the screen. And remember, just because you're not the main character doesn't mean you're not important. Goodbye everyone.